It's a pleasure to be here. That's, I haven't seen that face for a while. Just want to say thank you very much, Delph, for letting me speak about Web3 music today. This morning, we've been hearing a lot about the regulatory, the financial, and technological aspects of Web3, how that's going to develop. I think one area of discussion that is always missing, I feel, is how Web3 and blockchain is going to impact the creative output of artists when it comes to music and art and so forth. So I want to more so today talk about how Web3 is going to change music from a creative standpoint. So Cindy, you introduced me, and by background, I am a songwriter for Eason Chan and Zhang Xiaoman, Sammy, and others. I was also a recording artist on my own. I've always also been a marketing executive for over 20 years. So I've had 2 jobs all this time. Creatively, I think I've had a really good time over the past 20 years working with some of the best musicians in Asia and around the world. Really, really fun stuff. But I think my commercial career is not as much as I would like. I always felt that I never really fit into the local entertainment industry. And I always thought that my record labels never really understood how to actually market me, because I have 2 jobs, and not a lot of full-time professional singers can say that. So they didn't know how to market and sell me. So I didn't really have a good time when I was a recording artist as a professional musician. And it wasn't until I started looking into NFTs and blockchain and Web3 technologies that suddenly the light bulb clicked. And I realized that there's so much more about music, and there's so many more people doing music that is unrecognized, undiscovered, that I would like to unlock with GroundUp Studios and Web3 music as well. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, but just today, just a snapshot in terms of where we are as the industry. It's still very centralized and commoditized. Now, what does that mean? A couple of things. Firstly, because I think despite the promise of digital streaming platforms like Spotify, artists are still not getting paid what they deserve income-wise. Right. So here's a few data points for you guys. Spotify currently has 11 million registered artists on their platform, but only 1% make around US $10,000, so around 70,000 Hong Kong dollars. Only 1% of that. On average, Spotify pays anywhere between US 0.3 cents to 0.8 cents for one full stream. Now, one full stream means you have to listen to the song, as a consumer has to listen to a song from beginning to end. That only counts as one stream. So if you get one stream, the artist gets 0.3 US cents. Now, if you don't listen to the entire song, like many of us here today, the payout, the percentage decreases dramatically. So what this really means is that the artists can't really, support themselves just by distributing music. Imagine, if you get 1 million full streams, you get around 20,000 Hong Kong dollars here and there. So that means every month you have to make 1 mega hit song, right? That hits 1 million streams every single month in order to have a monthly income of $20,000. That's crazy, because who can make a mega hit song every single month? I would like to say I can, but I cannot, right? So what that means is artists need to do a lot more in terms of having additional income just to survive, just to get by, So that's why you see artists doing more and more shows around the world, right? And they kill themselves on shows, or even do non-music stuff like cooking shows, right? Silly podcasts and things like that. So some people like that, but a lot of musicians just want to focus on their music and do a good job at that. So that's something to think about. Secondly, the music industry still sees itself as that central authority in music. They control every aspect of the artist's lives, to the point where it becomes suffocating for the artists themselves. Because let's face it, there are many artists that I would love to work with, but because they're not part of my record label, I am unable to work with them. And finally, the music industry is still operating on that mindset just way before the digital era, They are still thinking of how to sell a single, an EP of 3-4 songs, a full album. Why not do 1-minute songs for the TikTok generation? I don't like it personally, but the world seems to like it. We have shorter attention spans. We don't listen to one full stream of a song, right? So why not do shorter versions, do different formats, longer format, shorter format, all those sorts of things. So in summary, I think the way that the traditional music industry is run is broken. And this is where I think Web3 comes in, because there's a fresh perspective to re-inject and reimagine what music can be. So when I think about Web3, I don't necessarily just think about technology or cryptocurrency. I think about it as a fresh new attitude. The convergence of internet, social media, innovations, that impacts the creatives in terms of what we actually do with music. Think about this. This is not the first time in human history that we've done this too. We've done this before. Remember centuries ago, right? People who wanted to go listen to music, either they're really rich and they go to an opera house and they listen to musical theater, or if you're poor, you go to a bar and pub and you listen to folk songs, right? So the format for each of these venues is dramatically different to each other. And as such, the audiences are different too. Really rich people, not so rich people. But as technology advanced, right, and music became less expensive to produce, people were more exposed to different forms of music, and then in turn, there becomes like an increase of audiences. So digital revolution is inspiring millions more people to try and create music. And the internet is introducing billions of people to more of these people for their work. So I think streaming is great, but the music industry hasn't caught on. They're still in that Web 2 sort of old world phase of trying to sell an EP or an album on Spotify, right? Blockchain is moving the internet forward, so it's now to reimagine it with a fresh new attitude. And this whole decentralized, this. I think that's really great. What's happening is that certainly the data from the industry seems to back up this new attitude of music. Goldman Sachs says that by 2030, the total addressable market for music is $131 billion. Right? Recorded music by 2030 will exceed 80 billion. Live music, 38 billion, and music publishing at 12.5 billion. So obviously, I think more and more of you guys are spending more on music. But I think it's just more, so much more than that. Think about a wider base of artists, doing a whole bunch of different things, from 1-minute TikTok songs to symphonies and 3-hour music films and things like that. But on the right is where I'm most excited about. This is what I call the undiscovered hobby musicians. Now, who are these hobby musicians? I see them all here. Let me ask you a quick question. Who sings in the shower? 邊個沖涼嗰陣時係唱歌㗎? Yeah. Do you sing other people's songs, or sometimes you make your own songs? So you're an artist. I see the term artist as very different to a lot of what the industry says. If you sing in the shower and you come up with a melody, you're a musician, you're a songwriter. The only reason why you're not a songwriter is because you can't complete the song, or maybe the melody isn't that good. But imagine with social communities, Web3 communities around the world, all helping each other out, supporting each other. Maybe that melody in the shower becomes a proper song. That might actually get somewhere at the end of the day. So I think it's very important for us to understand that this whole term artist is changing, right? Just because you're an accountant and you have a day job and you have to support your family and kids, but you're a crazy good heavy metal guitarist and you want to be a rock star, at the Wanch or Fringe Club or whatever, you are still an artist, right? The industry tells you you're not an artist because they don't know how to market you. They don't know how to market people with 2 jobs, right? So I want people to start thinking about the fact that every one of us here can create. Okay? And of course, I talk a lot about the industry and why they're not they're not doing so well in the future of music. Look, I think they are capable of change. It's just that it's happening really, really slow, and it takes maybe smaller guys like us to actually move that needle forward, as with many, many industries and businesses as well. It's happening, as I said, slowly, but we're seeing big players like Warner, collaborating with One-Off for NFT releases for artists. I'm not sure in this bear market, I don't know how successful that may be, but it's a good experiment to try and innovate and differentiate what they're trying to do. What I particularly like is what Sony's doing. They're adopting a B2B approach. So they're actually funding and investing in individual artists or micro labels so that they can access Sony's global resources, but they can do whatever they want in terms of music and multimedia art and so forth. And these businesses, I think they're starting on the right track because they realize that there's a huge, huge new generation of audiences that we think we know, but we don't. Because of what we're doing at GroundUp Studios, we have around 5,000 Discord community members, and we're working with gamers, we're working with gaming communities, art communities, photography, motorsport, whatever. And again, there are gamers who are excellent singers. We actually last month we had a Twitter singing competition. 11,000 people showed up and tuned in to the entire competition. I think there were around 400 people who stuck around for the entire show. We had 17 contestants, some from our community, but some who are gamers, some who are artists, digital painters. One person worked at the airport in Chengdu, and he dialed in on Twitter and sang on his phone, right? But at first I was skeptical about the quality of the singing competition at first because we're used to 中國好聲音 and all those, but I was really surprised. I had 17 contestants. 5 of them, I would actually say they're decent singers and musicians. And one of them, actually, I'm talking to her right now. I've got a couple of demos for a female artist. I would like for her to help me sing that song. So the talent is out there, and we just need to understand that you don't let any central authority tell us that they are the best tastemakers out there. If the internet is so big and it's out there and social media and all that, I think there's a huge opportunity for companies like us to discover talent outside of this sort of traditional music ecosystem and with social media and so forth. And just finally, I did want to say that I think with businesses, I think it's important for us to understand that Web3 is not just a binary thing. You don't jump from Web 2 to Web 3. You think about the transitional phase. So right now, as it stands, Web 3 is a fantastic product and market segmentation tool for musicians. Think about radio edit, right? 派台歌 on Spotify, on the Web 3, Web 2, YouTube Music, Apple Music, or whatever. A different version with a digital art cover and remixes, and then the original track and demos on an NFT marketplace, right? So this is segmentation of a product, of the same product, right? So that's exciting for me as an artist and as a music label founder as well. So having discussed all this, this is why I started a Web3 music label, because we want to be a forward-thinking organization that provides a borderless space for everyday people, fans and artists to connect, collaborate, and then create and commercialize, right? Right now, we want to use Web3 technology as a means to actually bring a new decentralized and brand new experience for people. But we're agnostic to anything, right? So if Web 2 still works, let's use Web 2. If Web 3, same. Web 4, etc., etc. So what does this all mean? It means that we, as a label, we're starting from scratch, clean sheet of paper, and we're trying to start by asking ourselves, what does it mean to be a music label in 2023, in a world where essentially no artist needs a label anymore? Last slide, I promise. In short, we focus not on what the artists need, but what they want. Now, what does an artist want? They want to belong to a community, right? They want to be part of a community that they can talk like nerds about music with other people. They want to be able to surround themselves with all the resources that they have, right? Imagine a community where we're building, where there are lyricists, people who write lyrics, people who are arrangers, people who are mixing engineers, people who are producers, business development people, choreographers, all those sorts of things, you know. Building that self-sustaining ecosystem, I think, is going to be key in terms of our success, and I think the future of Web3 music companies as well. And so we're doing that. We've successfully launched our sort of NFT digital membership pass. It's sold out, thank God. And on Discord, we've got around 5,000 people in the community. Quite a lot of them are actually musicians, are definitely music lovers, and they enjoy to listen to all sorts of different music. So we're also already experimenting community-driven creation. So I would run live stream events, and we would talk, and then we would share ideas, and I would take down melodies, chords, beats, etc., and then turn it into something bigger. And then we'll market it and distribute it on Web3 and Web 2 channels as well. Second, they want access to professionals if and when they need it. Okay, we have a creative council of producers based in Hong Kong, Taiwan, Korea, and LA. So they act as professional resources when the artists want to engage with them. They're not mentors, and I hate that word because it's such a top-down, centralized approach to things. I don't like that. These are just people you could talk to. They're not elevated, you know, people. They just happen to be good engineers and stuff. So, you know, we have these resources ready, and in the future we would love to also talk to other organizations. For instance, mastering studios, right? Brand connector, marketing agencies, gaming communities, art communities, and so forth. I really do believe that, you know, musicians are everywhere, like literally as people are walking past right now. Thirdly, they want an entertainment platform so that they can showcase the talent, right? Something that's truly fair, community-driven, no sort of, you know what happened with The Voice China? None of that stuff. It's really just a purely democratic, community-driven vote. That's gonna be, I think that's gonna be key. But artists want to be seen, and so I think TV and shows are still a great way of actually showcasing some of this talent. And then finally, they want a label who understands that the artist knows what they want to do musically, but they need help in terms of business, brand collabs, marketing services, and so forth. So these 4 elements are essentially what we're trying to create at GroundUp Studios. So I'm just going to keep it there. I know I'm running out of time, but I just want to say Web3 music is a really, really early thing right now. Literally just starting, but I'm excited about the future. Not just about the technology, but because of this whole attitude of engaging a lot more people, doing stuff together, you know, and then making it work, and then everyone just being really, really happy about that. I do see that there's going to be a new generation of record labels coming up, challenging the big 3 in terms of their business vision and the overall thinking. And yeah, we hope to be one of the first ones to break through. So thank you very much for your time, and see you soon. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Adrian.